The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, when Gavin's beautiful girlfriend, Amber, is brutally stabbed to death, Gavin finds solace in the arms of his sympathetic ex-lover, Meredith. But when Meredith is arrested for attempting to murder her husband, Tim, a husband that Gavin didn't even know about, a shocking web of love, lust, obsession, and deceit unravels. Meet Meredith, a smart and ambitious lawyer who's on the fast track to becoming partner. She's been married to Tim, her college sweetheart, for 13 years.
Oh, what a shot! Damn.
But Meredith finds herself a little bored with the repetition of married life. The spark may have faded from their marriage.
Oh, jeez.
But Meredith has plans to light it back up.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
For Tim, it's a bit of sensuous fun.
Guess what this is?
For Meredith, it's something else entirely.
Ooh, soft. Oh, like a feather.
Yeah.
I like this game after all.
Tell me what this is.
Well.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I slipped.
It was a knife!
No, it was a letter.
Get it!
So
Get
sorry.
me out of this!
Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay!
Tim's not okay.
Call the ambulance!
I don't know where my phone is.
What?
Sorry, I don't know where my phone is. I can't find it.
Get me out of the cuffs, I'll find a phone.
Oh, okay, I found it. They put me on hold. They're playing that song you like.
What?
Hi, 911. I have an emergency.
I'm bleeding.
There's been an accident. Can you send an ambulance right away? It's critical, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, they'll be here in a minute.
I've seen a lot in my 25 years at the FBI, but someone getting stabbed happens every day. Or maybe, just maybe, there's more to this situation than meets the eye.
For 20 minutes, Tim and Meredith wait for an ambulance. But at the 45-minute mark, Tim insists that Meredith drive him to the ER, or he's going to pass out. What is normally a 20-minute drive to the hospital takes twice the time. When Tim and Meredith finally arrive, he's alive, but weak, in severe agony, and covered in his own blood.
Hey!
Oh, hi. Can you please help me? What's
going on?
My husband, something happened.
Lucky for him, a passerby sees the struggle and comes to Tim's aid. Hospital personnel rushes him to the ER. Minutes later, he's in surgery.
I have no idea what happened. I just found him like this.
When the police speak with Meredith, she tells them that Tim got stabbed at work and came home with his wounds.
I don't know what to tell you.
When no ambulance came, she rushed him to the ER.
Do you know anything? Is he okay right now? Do you know anything?
FBI agents and cops are very literal people, so if you're gonna spin us a yarn, it's got to ring true. The thing to do now is hear her out, hear what she's got to say, and then see if the evidence bears it out. That's Investigation 101. Hope you were taking notes. It'll be on the quiz.
This man found us, and he came and he helped me bring him into the hospital.
But the Good Samaritan tells a different story. He saw Meredith lunging at Tim with a letter opener, so he came to Tim's aid.
If you're gonna try to hoodwink a cop, give it your best shot, but you better hope they've got nothing to check your story against. Meredith figured that Tim wouldn't be alive to tell his side of the story, but he is, and he does.
When Tim wakes up from having the hole in his heart stitched up, he's in no hurry to see Meredith. And his version of the story is very different from the one Meredith told. No, he did not come home bleeding. His wife stabbed him while they were playing a game. She called 911, but no ambulance came. She seemed freaked out that she'd hurt him, but then totally flipped out and started stabbing him again, this time in the parking lot of the hospital. The police have enough to arrest Meredith on suspicion of attempted murder. But they still need to build the case for the trial. Detective Castle is the primary investigator assigned to the case. She carefully combs through Meredith's phone records and finds that she did make a call after stabbing her husband. But she didn't call 911. She called someone named Gavin. Detective Castle does some investigating and finds out that not only does Gavin work at the same law firm as Meredith, but he was investigated in the brutal murder of his girlfriend 6 months earlier.
Making connections is what crime solving is all about. That's what makes Sam Spade's story so compelling. He sees connections other people never would. That moment of insight, that's what you live for.
911, what is your emergency?
I think there's a man attacking my neighbor. I heard her screaming and some kind of fight.
When the police arrive expecting to find a domestic squabble, they instead discover something far worse. A grisly murder scene. The victim is Amber, a beautiful young woman with an Ivy League degree who specializes in international law. She's been stabbed 20 times in the face, neck, and torso. The wounds are consistent with a sharp, narrow object, probably an ice pick. No valuables were taken. No witnesses. The neighbor who called 911 is nowhere to be found. The police find blood traces on a sink in the powder room and theorize that the person who killed Amber may have gone into the bathroom to wash up, leaving DNA behind. The blood sample is submitted for analysis, but can take up to a year for accurate results.
Whoever committed the crime was likely known to Amber because she let that person into her home without a struggle. Local cops determined this was likely a crime of passion. An ice pick for a murder weapon speaks to a certain level of coldness. It's a very personal way to commit a murder.
Gavin was considered a prime suspect because he's Amber's boyfriend. He's brought in for questioning by Detective Campbell,
Seemed nervous.
the lead investigator in Amber's murder. Throughout the interview, Gavin is emotionless and vacant.
You guys worked together, that's right?
Yeah, the law firm.
You didn't have any reason to harm her.
No. If I did, why would I tell you? It's an interesting question.
At one point, he even starts picking at his eyebrows uncontrollably. All of these behaviors send up red flags for the investigators. And while Gavin may look like the perfect suspect,
And where were you on the day she died?
I told you I was at work.
he has an ironclad alibi.
I never left the building.
The law firm has an elaborate security system. Its data backs up Gavin's story.
So Mr. Eyebrows is off the hook for now, but if it were me, he wouldn't be completely off. I'd still be digging into his past because you never know what kind of skeletons you might be finding there.
Six months later, Amber's murder is still unsolved. Now, Detective Campbell, who has teamed up with Detective Castle, brings in Gavin for another round of questioning. This time, it's about his connection to Meredith.
This guy Gavin, he better be squeaky clean because he's got a weird way of violence following him around like a bad smell.
Gavin, can you tell me why Meredith would call you instead of an ambulance?
It didn't really make any sense. The phone call.
Hi, 911. I have an emergency.
I'm bleeding.
There's been an accident. Can you send an ambulance right
Sorry?
away?
Meredith?
At first, he denies really knowing her, but eventually admits to a relationship.
I was seeing her before I met Amber.
You went out.
Yeah, when I met Amber, I broke up with her.
It becomes clear that Meredith wasn't thrilled with their relationship coming to an end.
I guess Meredith didn't take too kindly to being cast aside by Gavin, especially for a younger colleague. Talk about your messy workplace love triangle. I mean, we all know jealousy is a powerful emotion. When it's unleashed, it can have a mind of its own. You remember the bunny scene from the movie Fatal Attraction? Who could forget it?
Amber doesn't know it, but she's now in Meredith's crosshairs. In Meredith's mind, it's not that Gavin isn't interested. It's that Amber is in the way.
Did you know she was married?
No? What?
Meredith's married.
Since when?
She's been married for over a decade.
What's becoming clear is that Meredith is a master of deception. She's created a world of her own and beguiled other people into living in it.
Who's her husband? What is...
It's amazing what people can accept or believe, or how ready we are to take a person's word for who they are and what their agenda is.
Tim, the good husband, believes she has a man-hating sister for whom he has to leave the house whenever she visits.
Oh, come on.
Oh, babe, my sister's gonna be here soon.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I guess I'll go watch the game at the bar then.
Okay.
Gavin, the boyfriend, believes he's spending weekends with an attractive single woman. Meredith has spun an elaborate web of lies, making it possible to live the perfect double life.
So Meredith stabs her husband, claiming it was an accident. And then we learn that she had an affair with a guy at work who traded her in for a newer model, which she didn't take kindly to. And that woman gets murdered, and that crime is never solved. Wow, that's way too much coincidence for me. If I were a betting man, I'd be looking more closely at Meredith.
Having already established means and opportunity, police now have motive. Meredith had been having an affair and wanted her husband out of the way so she could be with her lover, Gavin.
You've heard that expression, open and shut? Well, that pretty much describes the case against Meredith when it goes to court. The prosecution demolishes her implausible and constantly changing story. The stab wounds, the witnesses, the phone call to Gavin that proves she never even called 911.
Meredith is convicted for the attempted murder of her husband, Tim, and is sentenced to 20 years. One case might be closed, but But police are convinced that Meredith is involved in Amber's death. They just need to prove it. Detective Castle listens to the anonymous 911 call made on the night of Amber's murder.
911, what is your emergency?
I think there's a man attacking my neighbor. I heard her screaming and some kind of fight.
And is convinced that the voice belongs to Meredith. But when the 911 call is put through voice recognition software, the comparison isn't conclusive.
Voice recognition software is a great tool for investigators, but because it's not 100%, it won't hold up in court. Investigators need to find evidence against Meredith that isn't circumstantial. They need something that will give them means and opportunity.
Detective Castle searches the company records where all three people in our love triangle worked. She makes a key discovery. Meredith left work at the same time as Amber did on the day of her murder. Meredith returned 2 hours later.
The first M is motive.
So, court date Wednesday.
It is clear that Meredith was obsessed with Gavin and determined to be with him. Amber was the obstacle. Means. An ice pick isn't hard to get. And Meredith clearly knows how to stab someone because she's now in prison for having done just that. And the O is for opportunity. She had that as well. That security system that proved Gavin was at work when Amber was killed now reveals that Meredith was out. And Amber knew Meredith and would have let her into her home. So we have means and opportunity. But it's still circumstantial and won't necessarily hold up in court. Investigators need a smoking gun, a piece of evidence that places Meredith at Amber's home.
Finally, the blood spatter analysis comes back for the DNA found on the sink in Amber's bathroom. And they found a match. It's the smoking gun the police have been looking for. The blood found on Amber's sink matches Meredith's DNA. This places Meredith at the scene of the crime and is enough to arrest her for Amber's murder.
At some point during the fight, without realizing it, Meredith nicked herself with the ice pick. This is actually very common, especially when the attacker is holding a sharp weapon that is slippery with blood. But when she washed her hands, she left some of her own blood on the faucet. And that's why the DNA results showed Amber's blood mixed with Meredith's.
When Meredith starts talking,
I love Gavin. I just wanted to be with him.
the investigators realize she's one of those rare
Like
things,
the only solution.
Yes. Yeah.
a true monster
She deserved it. She was making me crazy.
who's played everyone in her life to satisfy her lusts and obsessions.
I had to be around them, flirting. It just drove me insane, like seeing them together every day at work, like making out in front of me. Unprofessional.
When she lost Gavin to Amber, she set out to get him back, whatever the cost.
How did you kill her?
First, I hit her on the head with this thing and she fell to the ground, and then I stabbed her. I stabbed her multiple times.
20 times.
Was it 20? I don't know. It felt like not enough.
Let's go over it one more time.
I went to her house.
Would you like some water?
I would love some. Thank you.
What brings you by?
Oh, not much. I just wanted to come see your place. Hello. I think there's a man attacking my neighbor. I heard her screaming and some kind of fight. Can you send an ambulance?
After eliminating her competition, Meredith cleans herself up and then heads back to work like nothing happened. With Amber out of the picture, Meredith can have Gavin all to herself. They rekindled the affair, but this time, Meredith isn't prepared to lead a double life. There's only one person standing in the way of Meredith living happily ever after with Gavin. Her husband, Tim.
People who get away with murder once tend to get cocky. An ice pick worked nicely on Amber, but Tim is stronger, so Meredith figures out a way to trick him. But in the end, all she did was lay the breadcrumbs that led the investigators of Amber's murder right to her.
I'm very sorry, okay? I'm very sorry, but I had no other choice. I'm not sorry I did it. She deserved it, okay?
Meredith is sentenced to 60 years for the murder of Amber.
The lesson here? You can't have your cake and eat it too. Meredith may have led the perfect double life and thought she got away with the perfect murder. But like most criminals, your past usually catches up with you. If it hadn't been for this blood on the faucet, she might just have gotten away with it too. Meredith should be free to start a new life in 2089. She'll be 109. Who knows? By then, 109 might be the new 90.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, an arson allegedly set by local gangs uncovers the actions of a reclusive anti-drug crusader.
She's going around sticking her nose in everyone's business.
The heinous plot of a die-hard partier.
You want the bottle so badly, go and drink it.
A tale of twisted family loyalty and revenge. And one dead body leaves police with the loathsome job of sifting through the ashes, looking for the murderer. Kimmy is a quiet, unassuming 55-year-old woman who recently retired from her job as a dental hygienist.
How we doing?
All right.
A little drowsy?
Yeah.
She built herself a nice little nest egg and had plans to spend the rest of her days enjoying her retirement. That was the plan until her house is torched. A gas-fueled inferno that could only be the work of arsonists.
So Gladys, you want to tell me what's going on here?
Listen, you gotta do something about this woman.
Detective Grant, the responding officer, learns that Kimmy, while quiet, is very protective of her neighborhood.
She's going around sticking her nose in everyone's business, and it's just driving us all nuts.
She's been on a personal crusade to take down the drug dealers who are taking over her neighborhood. She's even gone as far as installing cameras on her porch to gather evidence against the drug dealers, and then sending the tapes to police to shame them into doing something. People were taking notice.
So here we have a quiet, middle-aged woman who likes to knit, who's decided to take the law into her own hands. In my experience as a former FBI agent, that is never a good idea. I get it. You want to do something. It's her neighborhood. But when you play with fire, you will get burned.
Fire! Fire!
Kimmy's house has been torched at least 2 times before, luckily without too much damage. But the drug dealer's scare tactics don't deter her. If anything, it fuels her personal fire to clean up her neighborhood.
She's the problem here, and you gotta do something about it.
While some neighbors see Kimmy as a superhero with her anti-drug crusade,
We can't put up with this anymore.
I'll look into it.
others think she's being reckless, endangering the neighborhood further, and that she has to be stopped.
And today's top story, local woman being heralded as a hero after her home is burned to the ground in what police suspect is retribution by local drug dealers.
The news of Kimmy's heroic fight against the city's drug dealers goes citywide.
Neighbors say the woman was leading the fight against drugs and corruption in the community.
Throngs of well-wishers send money to cover her medical expenses. A contractor offers to rebuild her house. And the governor offers a reward for help with the case.
You're making me blush. Stop.
Overnight, she's gone from zero to hero.
When a case is splashed all over the news, it's a double-edged sword. It can be good and it can be bad. The good news is that it can drum up lots of leads and potential suspects. The bad news is it can drum up lots of leads because chasing those leads involves a lot of manpower, and most of the leads end up being dead ends. But the one thing you can always count on when the media is all over a case, it's going to put a lot of pressure on you to solve the crime, and fast.
Hi, Kimmy.
Hello.
I'm Detective Grant.
Oh, nice to meet you.
With neighborhood interviews turning up little to no information, Detective Grant arrives at the hospital to question Kimmy.
You've become quite a sensation.
People have been very kind to me.
Yeah. So, have you had any arguments or disagreements with anyone in your neighborhood recently?
Not directly, no.
And this was your family home?
When the investigators interview victims or perpetrators, they're looking as much at how things are being said as what is being said. Is there anything that doesn't quite fit? And Kimmy does not come across as the reserved woman people claim she is. So what could this mean? Is it trauma from the fire? Is she still in shock? Or is there something else going on?
Do you think there's anyone else besides drug dealers who might have burned your house down?
No.
The one question the cops can't shake: if drug dealers wanted Kimmy out of the way for retribution, why would they burn her house down? It's just not their style.
Detective Grant reaches out to his informants.
Yeah, it's Grant.
To size up if they know anything about both the fire and drug dealers who might have had a vendetta against Kimmy. But no one has even heard of her.
It makes sense that there are no solid leads coming from the street. I mean, junkies and drug dealers don't get revenge like that. More pokers are needed for this fire. These punks are more gun and knives people. Either way, they wouldn't risk the heat of killing a civilian. I'm no mathematician, but this doesn't add up.
Suspecting there's more to this crime than meets the eye, Detective Grant starts digging into Kimmy's personal life.
What you doing? Hey, hi, sweetie. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Turns out she has a sister,
Enough of that.
Karen,
I'm making your favorite chocolate chip cookies.
You're so good.
who has lived with her for the past 15 years.
You're looking a bit wobbly there.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah.
And where Kimmy is reserved and quiet, Karen is a partier with shady friends and is known to make bad decisions.
I can see something
I
there.
have a favor to ask.
Yeah, shoot, Luke.
Tonight.
A date.
Yes.
All right. Maybe you should stop drinking so much before the date.
No, I'm just getting loose. I got a party hardy tonight because I'm going to impress them.
The neighbors talk about how close the two sisters are. that they even look alike.
So I need to borrow $200 from you.
But they also often hear them arguing,
I just gave you $400. I know, but that was just for living stuff.
especially over money.
It's going to be such a special night, please.
Kimmy supports Karen, giving her an allowance,
I'm gonna have to say that the door's closed on the bank today, Kimmy.
which she quickly burns through.
Look at me that way, please. I've done nothing but support you. You know this is special and it means a lot to me. You need to stop. I'm not going to fight you over it. You want the bottle so badly, go and drink it. Go on. That's where the money seems to be going anyway. You're doing this. I'm sorry. This is for your own good. How do they look? I don't wear them that often, so I'm going to depend on you.
Oh, they look fabulous.
Okay, and where do you want me to look for them?
Just straighten the lens and talk to your audience.
Okay.
And go.
I don't know who set fire to my house, but I do know that they wanted me dead.
Detective Grant returns to the hospital to question Kimmy
It will take a lot more than setting fire to my house 4 times
and is once again met by a media circus.
from the dirty, rotten drug dealers that have infested our streets.
Great. Good job.
Thank you.
So, Kimmy, I understand you have a sister, which you conveniently left out the first time we spoke.
It must have slipped my mind from the trauma of the fire.
Kimmy reveals that Karen left for Atlantic City with her boyfriend a few days before the arson.
So Kimmy has a sister, Karen, who looks a lot like her, and this is the first investigators are hearing about it? That is a red flag if I've ever seen one. And there's a second red flag. Where is Karen? Her sister Kimmy's face has been plastered all over the news and not even a phone call to check in. Something does not smell right.
Working a hunch, Detective Grant returns to Kimmy's home with the arson team. This time, looking for evidence of a crime the fire was meant to cover up. He discovers a freezer, blackened from the fire, and wrapped in what seems to be duct tape. Inside are remains that appear to be human. The fire has melted the freezer seals, letting in the heat and essentially turning the freezer into an oven.
Grant's hunch was right. The fire was a cover-up. This case has gone from arson to a murder investigation like that. The question is, whose baked remains are those in the freezer?
Yeah, I'm looking for the patient in room 4A. She checked herself out.
Against doctor's orders, Kimmy has discharged herself, taking with her several large donation checks she received from her well-wishers.
Okay, can we toss out the theory that drug dealers were targeting the house? Clearly something more sinister is going on. Our little Miss Hero Kimmy has some talking to do.
What else do I need? How about a vacation?
Kimmy cashes out on some of that sympathy money. In particular, a $2,500 check from a generous donor.
Find a body, lose a body. This investigation is stalled again. We'd put out a BOLO, or for those not as familiar with police jargon, be on the lookout, to track the victim who may now be a perpetrator, but actually it's 2 now. Both sisters are unaccounted for. This is an all-points bulletin, and that's APB.
With both Kimmy and Karen missing, the investigation has stalled. But then Detective Grant catches a lucky break.
Please, open up.
He gets a tip that Kimmy has been seen checking into a motel.
Detective Grant, surprised to see you here.
Hi, Kimmy. So, what are you doing here?
Hey, I'm chilling out and I'm relaxing. It was a tough time in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. So I've got a few questions for you.
Okay.
Maybe you come downtown, have a little chat.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'll just get my things and... All right. Okay.
Whose body's in your freezer?
Oh, Detective, I've told you 100 times already. I don't know whose body is in the freezer.
Detective Grant grills Kimmy for hours.
Well, where's your sister, Karen?
Again, as I've said, she's in Atlantic City.
Atlantic City?
Yes.
Okay.
But Kimmy insists that she doesn't know where in Atlantic City Karen is staying and has no way of contacting her.
I'll be back.
With the interrogation sitting at a stalemate, a surprising document falls into Detective Grant's lap. Turns out, another family member who lives in a different town has filed a missing persons report on Kimmy.
What?
Because family members haven't seen or heard from her in over a month.
I'd like to think that we can get the facts straight as investigators were able to see the forest for the trees. But even I'm confused by this one. The woman sitting in the interrogation room is Kimmy. But now there's a missing persons report for Kimmy. Then who is sitting in that chair in the interrogation room?
Yeah, it's Grant. This report, is this for real?
When Detective Grant receives the autopsy report, things go from strange to bizarre. The coroner has determined the body in the freezer has been stabbed multiple times, then chopped up with an axe, bagged, and stuffed into the freezer over a month ago.
You're sure about this?
The coroner also has ID on the body.
All right. So who are you?
Excuse me, I'm Kimmy.
I just got off the phone with the coroner. That body in your freezer, that's Kimmy.
That can't be. They must have made a mistake.
The autopsy report states that the body parts lying in the morgue belong to Kimmy. And yet, even when confronted with this evidence, she stands by her story.
This situation is particularly strange because you have someone who's been on TV all over the nation, a case the FBI would call a special, a high-profile case that can possibly speed up solving the crime. First, Kimmy's the victim of a crime by supposed drug dealers. Then she's reported as missing when she clearly isn't. Now she's supposed to be dead, lying on a slab in the morgue. Is Kimmy really Karen, or is Karen really Kimmy?
The only way to prove who is with fingerprints. But to get a match, whoever Kimmy really is will have to have a criminal record with prints on file.
So, you want to tell me what Kimmy was doing in your freezer?
Unlike people, fingerprints don't lie. Kimmy's prints match those of a woman arrested for prostitution 10 years earlier. And wait for it, the prints belong to none other than the elusive sister, Karen. Single white female, anyone?
Faced with the incontrovertible proof of her identity, the woman claiming to be Kimmy comes clean.
All right. I'm Karen. Look at Kimmy baking again.
I'm making your favorite chocolate chip.
Oh, that's really sweet of you. Listen, I met this guy.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Oh, yeah, maybe. And I need some money. I'm out of money.
Well, Karen, I just gave you $400.
Well, that was 2 days ago, Kimmy. Come on, you know how it is.
I'm really tired of this. I am. Would you just stop drinking?
No, I'm not gonna stop drinking. I think I'll have another one.
No.
Don't touch me! All I want is some money. Don't you touch me again.
I'm not giving you any more money.
But there's another twist in store for detectives.
I swear to you, on my mother's best china, I did not kill my sister, Kimmy.
I don't buy it, Karen. You're the only one who had anything to gain by her death. You gotta come clean.
It wasn't me.
Detective Grant charges Karen with murder and fraud.
It turns out Karen was impersonating her sister Kimmy, and a big part of the reason she was able to get away with it for so long is that the sisters looked a lot alike. But once you've caught a perp red-handed, finding out the rest of the story is just knocking the first domino down.
Under mounting pressure in the courtroom and faced with the undeniable evidence against her, Kimmy finally cracks and spills the beans on the entire sordid affair. Kimmy was tired of being Karen's meal ticket, and when she learned her sister had forged her signature to cash 4 of her annuity checks,
What are these?
It's no big deal. They're checks. They're just checks.
They're checks with my name on them.
she threatens to cut her off.
It's over.
What do you mean it's over?
I want you out.
To the outside world, the look-alike sisters appear close. But in reality, Karen harbors a deep-seated resentment towards Kimmy.
After all that I've done?
I'm so tired of hearing about everything that you've done for me. You're right. I'm a worthless piece of cow manure.
She envies her success and money, and she's not happy with the meager allowance Kimmy gives her.
Get out!
This is my house, too.
When Karen saw her personal ATM closing its doors, she came up with a new retirement plan. If Kimmy wasn't going to take care of Karen, then Karen was going to take care of Kimmy. As far as motives go, this is one we see every day: greed. Karen wanted Kimmy's annuities and the fire insurance money. What we don't see every day is someone cutting up their sister, putting the pieces in a freezer, and then setting the house on fire. That takes it to the next level. I'm no psychologist, but the word I have for a person who can do that with no remorse is psychopath.
Karen had assumed Kimmy's identity, allowing her access to her sister's insurance policies, bank accounts, and retirement checks. The media attention and cash donations from well-wishers was a happy bonus.
Karen had everyone fooled for the short time she was Kimmy, despite the fact that the look-alike sisters had completely different personalities. And she really was a chameleon, able to change herself into who she needed to be to get what she wanted, and that is, at least until she got caught.
In the act of burning the family home for insurance money, Karen herself got burned. Karen is found guilty of murder and fraud-related charges. She's sentenced to life without the chance of parole.
In all my years as an investigator, I've seen a lot of truly bizarre cases. But a sister killing her own sister and then impersonating her for money, and then become famous for it? She's a fiery one. She had everyone duped, and it was bold, I'll give her that. But that kind of daring doesn't last for long. The law always wins.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, When a wannabe social media star claims to have been the sole survivor of a late-night attack, she declares herself #blessed. But when police launch their investigation, nothing seems to add up, leaving them to ask how the attack really went down in #real life. Maureen, the manager of a local outdoor clothing and activity store, arrives at work one morning to find the front door unlocked. Assuming the supervisor from the night before has failed to close properly, Maureen simply continues on with her morning routine until she discovers a horrific scene.
I need the police. And maybe an ambulance?
When they arrive, police search the store.
Please help me.
There, they discover the two 20-somethings who were scheduled to close the night before.
Please help me.
Emma is traumatized but alive. Her supervisor, Taylor, however, isn't so lucky.
On the surface, this looks to be a robbery gone wrong. Very, very wrong. You've got one girl who's alive but badly injured, and another who's dead, having been beaten almost beyond recognition. My experience in the FBI tells me that you don't generally see this level of violence with a robbery gone wrong. They generally stop when you're dead. So I'm thinking there's more to this than meets the eye.
Emma, a budding lifestyle blogger and social media influencer, gives her statement to police.
It was horrible. Poor Taylor. She was my bestie. We closed up the store like we always do. Okay. It was so great. I know. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Mwah, mwah. Love you. Bye. But then I realized I forgot my house keys and my wallet, so I called Taylor and asked her, do you mind coming back and letting me in to get them? So Taylor came back.
Just as Taylor was unlocking the door, two men rushed out of the shadows, grabbing the women and forcing them inside.
You, around there!
What?
Get around there and open the register!
I can't, it's locked!
Stop lying to me!
No, we already deposited it, there's nothing in there!
Open it up or I'm gonna hit you!
You're not listening, there's nothing I can do! No! Oh, run! Oh! No! No! No!
Emma becomes emotional as she describes hearing Taylor being beaten to death in the next room before being dragged in there herself.
And then I saw her lying there dead.
Emma says the men began panicking when they realized Taylor was dead. Terrified she would be next, Emma took a chance and pleaded for the men to spare her life.
Then I begged them not to kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I couldn't tell who they were, so I swore I wasn't going to tell anybody what happened. Don't kill me.
Don't say anything, and we'll come back and kill you too. Come on, let's go.
Taylor!
I'm surprised that Emma was left alive. I mean, most of the time, criminals who are willing to beat and stab one young woman to death don't leave another alive to serve as an eyewitness to their crimes. Isn't that the reason they killed the other one? In fact, it's so unusual that Emma should be writing to the Pope because she just got her miracle.
As she finishes her tragic tale, Emma seems overcome by guilt.
If it weren't for me, Taylor would still be alive.
Detective Armstrong assures Emma that he'll do everything he can to bring Taylor's killers to justice.
Thank you.
The thing with victims like Emma, young, pretty, the whole bit, is that people see them as infallible. They can't lie or be mistaken. I mean, how could they when they look so innocent? But if there's one thing we should have learned by now in this age of social media, it's that the image and the truth don't always go hand in hand.
Emma soon discovers that surviving tragedy is a fast track to gaining followers. It only takes one post for her social media to go from recreational to aspirational. As Emma's harrowing attack goes viral, panic grips the town, and parents fear their children could be the assailant's next target.
Young people being randomly kidnapped or killed while their parents think they're safely at work, that's straight out of the parents' worst nightmares handbook, which means one thing. There's going to be a lot of pressure to solve this case and solve it fast.
Detective Armstrong works around the clock, and his efforts soon pay off. Within a day, he finds two men dressed all in black on the store's security footage. Could these be the mystery assailants who attacked Emma and Taylor?
Emma's story of survival might be a social media sensation, but her story is anything but on fleek.
Armstrong.
Detective Armstrong tracks down the men from the security footage, but soon learns they simply cut through the strip mall's parking lot on their way to a party. With solid alibis for the remainder of the night, they're eliminated as suspects. When Detective Armstrong re-examines the crime scene, he discovers another issue. Emma said that there were two attackers, but there's only one pair of men's bloody footprints in the store, suggesting a single assailant.
There's a few reasons a victim's story may not check out. They may be traumatized so badly that they get details wrong. I've seen that. They may be so scared of their attackers that they lie to the police. Or they may lie to cover up something even worse.
As Detective Armstrong continues his investigation, he focuses his attention on single assailants who could have come into the store, and soon receives a flood of tips about one man.
Armstrong.
Sam. When Detective Armstrong looks into Sam's background, he finds a long rap sheet of petty crimes, as well as a history of being aggressive with women around town.
It's clear that Sam has no respect for law or women, and he hangs out at a local pool hall, which just happens to be down the street from the store Emma works at. And if that's not enough to raise a red flag, old Sam is often seen cutting across the strip mall parking lot en route to the pool hall. Yeah, that's enough to bring him in.
But when Detective Armstrong goes looking for Sam, he's not at his favorite hangout spot, but at the hospital, after getting into a fight a couple of nights before.
Sam, I'm Detective Armstrong. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions?
I guess.
The man he finds is nothing like who the tipsters described.
We've been thinking Sam could be a cold-blooded killer who overpowered two young, active women, brutally murdering one of them. But this guy, he doesn't look like he could even take me down. And look at me, I'm old, I'm retired.
Detective Armstrong shifts his focus, hoping to still get some information out of his visit.
I'm investigating a murder that took place at the strip mall on the 5th.
I was in the strip mall.
You were in the strip mall?
I cut through there in the evening.
You cut through there what time, Sam?
About 10, I guess.
The night of the murder, Sam cut through the mall parking lot after the time Emma claims the women were pushed into the store.
Now, did you see anything? Anything out of the ordinary?
I didn't see anything.
You didn't see anything?
I heard lots of screaming and yelling.
Sam says he could hear raised voices from people arguing in the store.
Sam, how many men's voices did you hear?
Detective Armstrong gets an answer he never expected.
No men.
Sam claims there were just 2 women yelling that night. Well, that doesn't line up with Emma's report, but let's face it, Sam isn't the most reliable witness. So the question becomes, whose statement is accurate, Sam's or Emma's?
Hoping for clarity, Detective Armstrong turns to store manager Maureen, who immediately raises her own doubts about Emma's story.
I just want to ask you a few questions about Emma and Taylor's friendship.
Friends. Emma and Taylor were never that close.
Really?
Maureen says that not only were Emma and Taylor not besties,
Okay, bag check time.
but Taylor had just accused Emma of stealing from the store.
Okay, yours? Oh. Okay,
Oh, yeah, I bought that earlier.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, the receipt is in the cash, and the cash is locked, so I'll be sure to show Maureen first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Thank you. After you.
Taylor sent Emma home, telling her they'd discuss the issue again in the morning. Once she left, though, Taylor became increasingly convinced that Emma had stolen the tank top.
Hey, Maureen, it's Taylor. Listen, I don't want to have to do this, but
Taylor told me Emma had a swim scholarship at college and she lost it and she got kicked off the team when she was caught stealing.
Really?
Emma had been the star of her swim team and her future looked set, but she was unable to stop stealing and eventually was kicked out of school.
all right, I'll see you tomorrow.
There are 2 types of theft, normal theft and obsessive. Normal theft is deliberate and motivated. They want something, an item, or the cash they can get from selling it. Obsessive theft is more random. Most of the time, they don't even know why, but they can't stop themselves. This second kind of theft often points to larger issues.
That okay?
Emma could have paid for that top, but instead, she pulls a full-on Winona Ryder.
Emma had only just gotten her life back on track, developing an online presence and getting her job at the store. But now, a single tank top could derail her again. Detective Armstrong has concerns about Emma's story, and these only increase when he learns that Taylor's car has been found a block away from the store, with Emma's fingerprints and blood in it.
If it were just Emma's fingerprints and they were, say, on the passenger side, it would be easy to believe she got a ride home from work with Taylor one day. But her fingerprints and the blood were on the steering wheel. And that can only mean one thing. She was driving that car the night of the murder, and the perpetrators would never let her do that unless they're from the Dumb and Dumber school of kidnapping.
When Detective Armstrong confronts Emma,
Okay, Emma, I have a question for you. We found your DNA in Taylor's car from the night of the murder.
she immediately breaks down.
Oh my gosh. I totally forgot.
She tells Detective Armstrong that the men who attacked her had seen Taylor's car double parked in front of the store.
Someone's gonna notice the car outside, and we're gonna get busted. You, go move the car.
What?
Don't move the car.
And they said if I wasn't back in 10 minutes that they were gonna kill me.
Emma claims she did exactly as she was told, parking the car a block away, then returning straight to the store.
Say you're in a hostage situation. You're the hostage, and the perps holding you hand you your car keys and tell you to be back in 10 minutes. Don't do it. Run away. Get away. Get your ass in that car and call the police. Even if there are still people being held hostage, your best bet is calling the police and then doing what the police tell you to, not playing nice with your kidnappers and hoping they'll take pity on you and let you live. They're not nice.
And I'm so sorry. I forgot. I remember now. The trauma from the night.
Like memory issues, trauma can lead to amnesia as people's brains literally block out aspects of the event they can't deal with. So it's completely possible that Emma had temporary amnesia. We get that. But most victims of crime don't leave out only those parts that might incriminate them. That's not temporary amnesia. That's convenient amnesia, and you usually only see that with people who have something to hide.
Detective Armstrong isn't convinced by his eyewitness's latest story, so returns to the scene of Taylor's murder, hoping to get some new insight on the case. After a short search, he makes a monumental discovery, a knife that could be the murder weapon. He preps it to be sent out for DNA testing.
This case is all about he said, she said. So finding a potential murder weapon, one that could have DNA evidence on it, is just what we need to figure out who's telling the truth and who's using a rose-tinted filter on their story.
Detective Armstrong goes over the rest of the crime scene with a fine-tooth comb. And soon hits pay dirt. A bloody shoe from a brand sold at the store. When he checks his new discovery against the male footprints in the store, he finds a perfect match.
So not only were these mopes letting their hostages have yelling fights and sending a hostage out to move a car, but now one is taking off his shoes to put on new shoes, walking around in them for a little while and then leaving them at the murder scene. If it weren't for Taylor's very real dead body, I think I was being punked.
Police send the shoes out for testing, and when the results come back, they clear up a lot of questions.
The blood on the outside of the shoe is Taylor's, and the DNA on the inside is Emma's. That means Emma handled those shoes the night of the murder. And what does that tell us? It says that Emma not only killed her coworker, but then went to elaborate lengths to cover it up, even inventing fake assailants and playing the victim. The problem was that Emma assumed police would automatically buy into whatever she told them. And in doing so, she broke one of the criminal commandments. Thou shalt never underestimate the popo.
Detective Armstrong confronts Emma, who sticks to her story.
Detective, I swear I'm the victim here.
But this time, Detective Armstrong isn't buying it.
I know there were no men there that night. The story does not add up. Tell me what happened that night.
He pushes Emma for the truth. And finally, it comes tumbling out.
Got all the details.
I did what I had to do. I stole the shirt, and she was gonna rat me out.
And once the two women parted ways for the night, she had obsessed about how Taylor was going to get her fired the next day. Hoping to talk to Taylor before she could report the incident, Emma called her, claiming to have forgotten her wallet and house keys in the store.
Emma tells police she just wanted Taylor to come back so they could have a private conversation. But you know where else you can have a private conversation? On the phone. If you ask me, Emma might not have known she was going to kill Taylor when she called, but she'd already decided to do whatever was necessary to make this situation go away.
Hey.
Hey, thanks so much.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it.
Taking the responsibilities of her job seriously, Taylor came right back to the store. She even offered to help look for the lost wallet and keys.
Where do you think you left them? It's behind here?
But Emma had other things on her mind.
No, I don't see anything.
If you say anything, my life will be ruined. Again. Please don't tell Maureen that I took the tank top.
Emma had her life fall apart once before because of stealing, and then just when she felt she'd gotten back on track, she saw everything about to slip away again. And that's when she went into self-preservation mode. And the problem with that is this. Even if people seem rational at first, when they get into self-preservation mode, anything can happen.
Emma, I'm really sorry. I already called Maureen.
Why would you do that?
I wasn't trying to get you in trouble. It's just...
Is your life so horrible that you had to ruin mine too?
Calm down.
Do not tell me to calm down.
I'm out of here. I have to go.
Taylor. Ah!
People who engage in obsessive theft are often really not concerned about how their actions impact others. They're addicted to the rush they get from breaking the law and getting away with it. Because of those things, we often see people who engage in obsessive theft escalate their criminal behavior over time. If you ask me, Emma was in a panic and a rage when she hit Taylor that first time. But once she got a taste of the violence, she found that the rush she got from that was even better than theft. And that's why she bludgeoned Taylor to death. She didn't want that moment to end. Emma may have done the crime, but she didn't want to do the time. So she moved Taylor's car to give herself a chance to cover her tracks. Then, realizing she couldn't, she decided to make new ones.
Knowing she couldn't get rid of the shoes that night, Emma hid them in the store, planning to come back for them later. Once the scene was set, Emma gave herself just enough injuries to make her story believable. Then settled in and waited to be found the following morning.
Please help me. Oh, no, it's not good. Okay. Help me. Please help me.
Emma was so desperate to hold on to her life and her online status that she was willing to literally bleed for it. That shows the same kind of extreme behavior and impulse control issues that I suspect led her to steal and then to kill.
Having heard her confession, Detective Armstrong charges Emma with first-degree murder.
Emma, you're under arrest.
Emma is convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison.
Emma apparently got confused between slay the day and slay your coworker. It's easy to do. And so in trying to save herself from being fired over stealing, she got herself locked up for murder. Talk about your epic fail.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders,
You don't have a shred of evidence against my client.
Patrick is a big-shot attorney with a reputation as a ladies' man. But when he meets the woman of his dreams, he's hooked.
Marry me.
Beautiful, smart, and hiding more secrets than the Pentagon.
I'll let him know that you called, okay?
He's got no idea.
Yeah!
She's about to become his worst nightmare. Savannah, Georgia. A city overflowing with good old Southern charm and hospitality. But also a hot spot for crime. And the domain of the sharply dressed gentleman and criminal lawyer, Patrick.
You don't have a shred of evidence against my client. I'll have this charge thrown out before your coffee gets cold.
Oozing charisma and smarts, Patrick is a consummate showman. He's the go-to guy for everyone, from trust fund kids charged with sexual assault to murderous drug dealers. Patrick is a larger-than-life figure in and out of the courtroom. He's been married and divorced 3 times. Patrick may be a high flyer, but he's not without his demons. He's well known for going on benders, disappearing for days before sobering up and getting back to work.
Patrick is what we call a high-functioning alcoholic. He may think he's always in control, but like any addict, he's prone to making some pretty impulsive moves. It's that mentality that can open you up to trouble, no matter how smart you think you are.
You have a resume for me?
I do.
Patrick meets Amanda when she comes in to interview for a paralegal position.
So, why do you think you're a good fit for the job here?
Well, Patrick. Can I call you Patrick?
Yeah.
He's immediately taken with her.
It's gotta be here, Amanda.
There,
Amanda quickly establishes herself as an outstanding employee.
right?
You're right. Excellent work. Excellent work.
She's quick to impress, both at work and during off hours.
You are something else, you know that?
Amanda is different than any other woman he's met before, or married.
You're smart, you're beautiful.
Patrick falls hard and fast. Very soon, they're in a serious relationship.
I think you got something behind your ear. No, this one right here. Right there.
And when Patrick pops the question,
Marry me.
Just try and stop me.
Amanda doesn't hesitate.
I guess Patrick never heard of the old saying, marry in haste, repent at your leisure. But he's one of those guys who can't stand being alone. Who knows? Maybe 4th time's a charm. Good luck. He's just proposed to the woman he barely knows. Sure, she's beautiful and good at her job, but who is she really? Married life always has a way of unpacking everybody's baggage sooner or later.
Amanda and Patrick settle into what looks like wedded bliss.
Good morning, sweetheart.
Thanks, babe.
Breakfast is served. Pancakes your favorite?
Patrick loves taking care of his new wife.
With a side of diamond.
That is so beautiful.
For you.
Oh, wow. I love it. Thanks, babe.
And in turn,
Yeah, come on, princess! Get moving, get moving! Get...
Amanda opens up a whole new world for Patrick when she introduces him to her passion, horse racing.
She's hot! She's hot! She's coming! She's coming! She's coming! Yeah! We are in the money!
From his first derby in mint julep, Patrick is hooked. And it doesn't take long for Amanda to convince Patrick to buy their own racehorse.
Oh my God.
Sweet.
Soon, they're in the winner's circle.
What?
But a few months after their wedding,
Doesn't make sense.
Patrick discovers the woman of his dreams isn't as perfect as he thought she was. The state bar accuses Amanda of embezzling nearly $100,000 from client trust accounts and siphoning it back into the firm.
They're accusing you of embezzling $100,000. Like, what do you have to say for yourself?
I don't know what to say.
When Patrick confronts her,
You have to forgive me.
Amanda offers no explanation.
Her husband's loaded, but she deliberately steals from his clients. What's the payoff? Either Amanda's not a very good thief or this is emotional blackmail. She's testing the limits of Patrick's love for her. Now, I call that some kind of baggage.
Instead of letting Amanda pay the piper, Patrick, the ever-doting husband, pays back the money, packs up his practice, and the two lovebirds head east to start over with a clean slate.
Patrick has fallen under the spell of his new bride, who's no ordinary trophy wife. But will her charms prove to be toxic?
Patrick sets up a new practice in Greenwich, Connecticut as a real estate lawyer. And it's not long before his practice is thriving. Once again, he and Amanda are living the high life. Patrick and Amanda's passion for horses only grows with the move to Connecticut.
And here's to victory. Yeah!
They're now owners of 3 prize-winning stallions and fixtures on the racing circuit.
No, sorry, he's not here right now.
I want to talk to my dad now. I haven't seen him since the wedding.
Well, I'll let him know that you called, okay?
Yeah, please do.
All right. Bye.
Patrick's never been happier, but his family and friends are having doubts about his latest wife.
Thank you.
Who was that?
Oh, it's just some pesky telemarketer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Amanda is extremely evasive when asked about her past, and his family complain she's cutting them off from Patrick. Even when his daughter Maggie digs into her past and finds out Amanda has been in trouble for writing a bad check, Patrick refuses to hear anything against her and cuts off ties.
So we've got a new young wife whose sticky fingers put her husband in a dicey position. Patrick had to move his home and practice to save face. This looks like the earmarks of a narcissist who can't see how her actions reflect on anyone else. But now, Amanda is isolating Patrick from family and old friends, making him totally dependent on her for his happiness. And that sounds familiar to me. This is the MO of a con artist.
I don't know what we're gonna do about this.
I know, but see, I was doing some research, and if we go down to this section...
With business booming, Amanda, who is now managing the office, decides to hire herself an assistant.
That gets us out of the issue we had over here, right?
That looks really good on you.
Thank you.
Brooke is pretty, bright, and very eager to learn.
What did he say to you?
So I started going on about something, and I said, I'm sorry, but those accounts just aren't yours.
Right?
It's not going to work that way. So I'm not entirely sure what he was thinking, but...
The two women click instantly, and soon they're inseparable.
Good for you, though, seriously. Wow.
Well, I learned from the best, so...
Usually, Patrick would be up for a little menage-a-trois fun, but not when the other woman looks like she'd like to cut him out of the equation completely.
Don't you have somewhere else to be?
Here's a guy who turns a blind eye to his wife's embezzlement attempt, but not when somebody's making a play for her affections. Brooke seems as obsessed as he is about Amanda, and worse, Amanda appears to be returning the feelings. Love triangles can be messy. Who's gonna throw down first is anyone's guess.
Did you see it? That was so good.
Oh, great. Right on time, 30 minutes late. And what is she doing here? Amanda, what is she doing here? No.
I invited her.
Get her out. Get her out. I want her out. I want her out.
Tensions reach a boiling point when Brooke shows up unannounced at the biggest horse race of the season.
You're fired. I want her out. You're
I'm
fired.
fired.
The Duchess Cup.
You can't fire me. I don't work for you.
Oh,
So-
I just did.
I'm sorry, you're not my boss.
I just fired you. Amanda,
Patrick,
fire your little whatever the
take
hell.
it easy. Let's all
Fired.
just
Get her
go
out.
to the Derby and have a good time together. How about that?
Oh, I've been having a great time. I've been having a great time.
I'm not leaving, so you can just deal with that, or maybe you don't have to go to the Derby.
With 2 horses in the running, Patrick has a lot riding on the race.
Come on, let's go. Run it!
A $1 million purse, to be exact. So for now, he's laying off Brooke, but not the booze.
Win me some money. Win me some money.
2 laps in, and Patrick is barely holding it together.
I don't feel so good. Come on, run it. Run, come on, no!
He might be a killer in the courtroom, but Patrick ought to watch his back when it comes to competing for a woman's heart.
God, he's so heavy. So disgusting. Smells like a tiki bar. Jesus Christ.
Back in the hotel room, things go from bad to worse for Patrick.
Let me get our medicine for our sick patient here.
You don't need an FBI badge to see Amanda's made her choice and that she has a more permanent solution to her Patrick problem. Get rid of him for good.
Time to take your medicine like a good boy.
Patrick tries to beg for his life, but he's paralyzed. Whatever Amanda gave him is powerful.
Why kill Patrick? For the money? And what's Amanda's plan once he's dead? It's going to be tough to explain how he died if there's an autopsy and they find poison in his system. And if she gets rid of the body, there's going to be other questions. Patrick is well known in legal and horse racing circles. People are going to notice if he's missing.
Damn, what are you doing? Oh, look at him. Hurry up. Oh my God, we don't have time for this. Well, let's go. He looks ridiculous. Let's go.
After managing to sneak Patrick out of the hotel, they drive to a secluded area so Amanda can get rid of the body.
So the thing about poison is, if you're not an expert like you or me, chances are you don't know exactly how much you'll need or how long it'll take to do the job.
Check his pulse. He's still breathing. Are you kidding me?
This is where Amanda faces a moral crossroads of sorts. Does she bury him alive or wait it out?
Well, let's take him home. God.
In the end, she opts for a weekend at Patrick's move. Oh, yeah, I know it's not the name of the movie.
Can you go check on him? Okay. Not yet.
It takes another 6 hours before Patrick finally draws his last breath. Only Amanda's problems are far from over.
If you're going to go as far as killing a guy, then you better go all the way and put him 6 feet under.
Fridge.
Not in the fridge. I mean, that might slow decomposition, but it won't stop it altogether. So now they face the risk of A, someone discovering the body when they go to look for Chardonnay, or B, as time goes by, it gets harder to get rid of a rotting corpse without anybody suspecting. And then there's C. Where are they going to put all that wine now?
Cheers. Yeah.
At first, when Patrick doesn't show up at the office, people assume he's gone on another bender. Amanda and Brooke get to work cleaning out Patrick's accounts and selling off his assets to a tune of $600,000.
I couldn't have done it better myself.
They liquidate everything except Patrick's prize-winning horses. I guess Amanda's got a sentimental streak. Or she just loves horses more than she loves people.
While Patrick is stuffed in the wine fridge, they burn through his money on flashy new cars, wild nights out, and expensive jewelry. Then Brooke moves in. She and Amanda settle into domestic bliss.
I've heard that couples who've been together for a long time start to actually resemble one another. This terrifies my wife. But in this situation, it's just creepy. I'd say master manipulator Amanda is up to something.
As the weeks pass, people start inquiring about Patrick's whereabouts. Amanda and Brooke feed them a web of lies.
These two ladies get real creative. They tell his clients he's out of town, but friends and family, like his daughter, are told he's in rehab in Costa Rica, and he's joined a cult. They're convinced people will buy what they're selling, and they're gonna get away with it. Ladies, I really hate to burst your bubble, but real life isn't a movie. Sooner or later, people are gonna get wise.
Worried sick,
Detective Novak?
Patrick's daughter Maggie reports him missing to the police.
Okay.
Amanda somehow catches wind the police want to talk to her about her missing husband. That's her cue. She needs to get rid of the body. They drive to Atlantic City and check into a hotel. While Brooke waits in the room, Amanda scouts a suitable place to bury Patrick.
I could have told Amanda that getting rid of a body isn't as easy as it looks, but she's got an even bigger problem now. As soon as Patrick is out of the fridge, decomposition speeds up. It's no fun having cops breathing down your neck with a stench like that oozing from your trunk. It smells like about 200 pounds of rotted, maggot-infested meat. That little pine tree under your rearview mirror, it's not gonna cut it. She has to move fast.
The next day, Amanda finally manages to bury Patrick in a shallow grave in the countryside, 100 miles from her home. Then, Amanda drains the firm's cash deposits, over $100,000, and closes down the office. Finally, she sends Brooke a text. But when Brooke arrives to meet up with her girlfriend, Amanda is nowhere to be found.
Amanda's flown the coop with a whole lot of cash. Sure, she can run, but the question is, will she get away with murder?
When Patrick's body is found in a shallow grave, police launch a nationwide manhunt for Amanda. The coroner determines that Patrick died from ingesting large quantities of asapromazine, a common horse tranquilizer.
I've seen my share of murder weapons, but this is a first. There is nothing common about death by horse tranquilizers. Amanda's big problem is she's practically pointed a finger at herself. It's no secret that she and Patrick owned horses, so she had access to what? Horse tranquilizer. That's means. She stole Patrick's money. That's motive. But ironically, if she hadn't put him in the fridge, she might still have gotten away with murder. See, decomposition destroys everything, including most poisons. If she'd buried him pronto, Patrick would have been worm food already. But preserving him meant the poison was still traceable in his organs and bodily fluids. Once the tox screen was run, it's good night, Amanda.
Police dig into Amanda's background and discover she's got a rap sheet of over 100 frauds and theft offenses. And she's got 30 aliases. Among them, Elizabeth, the horse whisperer, Crystal, the real estate agent, and Shanty, the massage therapist. Her real name is Karen.
Anyone with that many aliases gets as much of an adrenaline rush from scamming people as they do stealing money. They don't see the world the way you and I do. They're actors who spin tales to boost their own egos. Getting people to buy into the fantasy is what gets them off. And as soon as they've acquired the information to forge another identity, they're off to rinse and repeat.
Authorities eventually track Amanda to Myrtle Beach, where it all began. She's got a new ID, a new job, and guess what? A new man. Amanda is arrested and gives a full confession.
Amanda's got that gift that all clever con artists have, the ability to reinvent themselves. They instinctively know how to play their mark by becoming exactly what the mark needs them to be. They gain trust using many techniques, but it's all part of a big game.
It all started when Patrick and I started to have marital problems. Brooke came into the picture, and to be honest, I did feel like we had something special.
But why Amanda decided to kill Patrick instead of merely draining him dry? It could be she actually had real feelings for Brooke.
But there was something wrong with her. It wasn't enough for her to just have me divorce him.
But obviously not enough to take the rap all by herself.
I really hope that she gets the help she needs.
Brooke is brought in for questioning.
Okay, Brooke, tell me what you know.
I'm just his assistant. I don't really know what's going on. I'm not really sure.
But denies any involvement in the murder.
She's made a confession, and your name is all over it.
That's not true. If you're gonna pin this on anyone, it's her fault.
Looks like Mini-Me picked up a few tips from her master. The con artist M.O. is never cop to anything. Their defense is, hey, the mark was just asking to be had.
I'll show them.
If convicted, both the women could face the death penalty. But Amanda doesn't give prosecutors a chance. She kills herself in jail while awaiting trial.
The letter she leaves behind is to her lawyer, instructing him to sue the police for giving her the means to kill herself. She wants a settlement to go to her horses. You gotta hand it to her. Even in death, Amanda can't help herself. For a con artist, failure is not the end. It's just a signal to try a new angle.
Luckily for Brooke, there's no physical evidence tying her directly to the crime. She's sentenced to 10 years for voluntary manslaughter and fraud.
I bet Brooke spent some quality time trying to figure out why Amanda did what she did. I mean, she had all the time in the world to. But when all's said and done, with Amanda dead, no one will ever really know her true motivations. And I kind of suspect that even Amanda herself wasn't too sure. Like the saying goes, though, it's a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, Happy Days, a sleepy seaside town with a population of 1,300. Its only major crime, an attempted bank robbery back in the 1990s.
Hazel?
But on March 12th, 2012, a crime is committed that is so horrific, it shakes the community right to the bone.
Dispatch, we got a homicide.
Nestled in the rocky shorelines of the East Coast, Happy Days is an idyllic seaside town known for its world-class seafood chowder. This tight-knit community prides itself as being a real get-to-know-you kind of place. Hazel is an 80-year-old widow who lives with her 17-year-old cat, Minou. She loves mystery novels, needlepoint, her weekly game of pinochle, and port. Brenda is a volunteer who delivers meals to the elderly, like Hazel. Concerned for Hazel's well-being, Brenda calls 911 to report a possible break-in.
Hello, police.
Most criminals aren't professionals, so they look for the path of least resistance. They tend to prey on the weak. And an elderly woman like Hazel, who's frail and partially blind, is a perfect target.
Hello? Hazel? Anybody home? Hello? Hazel?
Hazel's body has been bludgeoned repeatedly, a deep cavity cut through her chest, and her heart removed.
If my years at the FBI have taught me anything, this might be a ritualistic killing. What the murderer did to Hazel, though, goes well beyond what's needed to simply kill somebody. This was what we call overkill, and it was executed for a very dark and twisted purpose.
Investigators go over the crime scene with a fine-toothed comb. And discover that the broken glass from the window has the top of a footprint left behind. On a different piece of broken glass, the investigators identify dried blood. The intruder may have cut themselves on the way in through the window.
It looks like a lip print.
So somebody drank the blood from the pan. Thirsty much? My guess is that it wasn't the victim. This is further evidence that it was a ritual killing. And I'm pretty sure we're dealing with a seriously twisted whack job who's into a lot more than just Dungeons and Dragons.
The blood evidence is sent for testing. If forensics can identify the DNA from the blood, it may lead them to Hazel's killer. The footprint left behind is processed in the hopes of finding a match for the shoe.
For a small-town community like Happy Days, a murder like this is nothing short of shocking. I mean, this is the stuff ripped straight from a Hollywood horror film. The good people of Happy Days' biggest worries are usually bike theft and petty vandalism. But a gruesome ritual killing of a sweet little 80-year-old woman, that's scary stuff. And the local police need to be careful about releasing the details of the murder. First, they don't want to create panic, but second, only the murderer will know the details, and they don't want to blow their case.
The forensics team identify the specific pair of shoe based on the unique pattern, a size 10 running shoe, and once the DNA results from the crime scene are processed, they reveal a key piece of information. While the majority of the blood from the scene is Hazel's, the blood found on the broken piece of glass from the back window belongs to a male.
The investigators now have two big-time leads. They know the make of the shoe, and they know they're looking for a male. Now, Happy Days has a population of 1,300, so that narrows down the focus and makes it a little easier than, let's say, New York City. The killer also is more likely not an elderly citizen based on the physical power they exercise over Hazel. But with a ritual killing like this, motivation is much more difficult to identify, and creating an accurate profile of the killer is far more important than in your typical murder case.
The police have identified the blood found at the scene as male and a footprint belonging to a specific brand of sneaker. Armed with these key pieces of evidence, they begin to search for the killer. The local police have never dealt with a major crime, much less a ritualistic murder. So a behavioral psychologist is brought in to help create a profile of the killer.
Behavioral psychologists bring a deeper understanding of the human psyche to cases like this. And that's exactly what we need here, because we're not dealing with your run-of-the-mill gun-toting murderer. We're dealing with someone who removed a human heart and drank the blood. And while I'm no profiler, that tells me we're dealing with someone with a pretty extreme, well, let's just say, imagination.
The behavioral psychologist concludes that the person they're looking for has a strong interest in the occult and witchcraft. They're also more than likely a loner, withdrawn and private. Armed with a profile that they're looking for a male loner with an interest in the occult who was wearing a size 10 running shoe, police launch a manhunt. They canvass the town and surrounding area, retrieving DNA samples from every male between the ages of 18 to 65.
The good people of Happy Days are only too happy to help the investigators out. With a vicious killer on the loose, people are living in a state of fear, and the sooner the police can catch this killer, the sooner they can sleep easy.
5 days after Hazel's murder, the usually sleepy town of Happy Days is rocked by another shocking death. A fishmonger named Glenn sets himself on fire and jumps from the top of a lighthouse. The police learn from Glenn's girlfriend that he suffered from bouts of depression that sometimes resulted in violent outbursts. The media jumps all over the story, going as far as suggesting that Glenn killed Hazel and was so torn up with guilt that he killed himself. Turns out, the lighthouse where Glenn committed suicide is only a few miles away from where Hazel lived, which gives police cause to search his home. They find a suicide note and a passage from the Bible that references a heart.
My son, give me your heart and let your eyes delight in my ways.
So an old woman has her heart cut out, and there's this guy whose suicide note specifically references the heart. Well, if that isn't a coincidence, then I don't know what is.
Police collect all of Glenn's shoes to see if any of them are a match with the footprint found at the crime scene.
Shoe prints can act like fingerprints. With running shoes, there's a specific pattern to each and every sole, and in a small town where less shoes are sold, this can really narrow a search. Plus, when shoes are worn down or scarred or cut, they create a specific pattern on the sole unique to each person's instep and walking style. If they can match the sole of one of Glenn's shoes to the footprint found at the crime scene, then bam, they found their man.
But none of Glenn's shoes match the print found at the scene. They extract DNA from Glenn's burnt body in the hopes of making a connection. But no evidence is found, and the DNA doesn't match. The search of his home didn't yield a weapon or anything else tying him to Hazel's murder.
Even though it's frustrating for both the local police and the people of Happy Days, Glenn is eliminated as a suspect. Sure, it would have been great if we could have pinned the murder on him, but that wouldn't have stopped the killings. And law enforcement, things are rarely that cut and dry. It's back to the drawing board for the good guys, and with no other suspects, the investigators are gonna have to start thinking way out of the box.
Investigators are running out of time and strategies. Police refocus their investigation on who could have purchased the specific type of running shoe that the killer wore. There's only one store within 50 miles that sells this brand of running shoe worn by the killer. Roughly 57 pairs of that shoe were ever sold in the store. Police track the purchasers through the debit and credit sales. They question everyone who purchased a size 10 shoe and take DNA samples. But all of the alibis check out, and none of the DNA is a match with what they found at the crime scene.
Detective James cannot catch a break. Every lead is a dead end. This is when you look into your little investigator's toolbox and use whatever you've got that might help you break a case.
With no options left, the police decide to reveal the grisly details of the crime to the media in an effort to stir up more leads.
The media can be a great tool. You'd be surprised how many people know things that they don't realize are actually significant leads. Like, let's say, knowing a guy with an overly active interest in vampires.
A French au pair named Margot comes forward and tells the investigators about an incident a few months prior.
His name is Alex.
Alex?
Yeah.
Margot met Alex at a party.
Yeah, I'll take it back.
They got to talking about a shared love of vampire fiction.
I mean, what if you could be one? Like a vampire, right? Like you
That would be amazing.
You do it, right?
He started going on and on that Happy Days would be the perfect place for vampires to live because with so many old people, they'd have tons of easy victims to feed on.
Okay, and then what happened after that?
He just wanted me to bite him in the neck.
You could bite my neck. Maybe that, just to get things started.
No. He just kept saying, just one bite, just one bite. No, I'm not going to bite your neck.
He started begging her to bite him.
No, hey, get off me, you freak!
But Alex just wouldn't take no for an answer.
Just one bite? Oh, come on. Let me get this straight. There's a local kid who is obsessed with vampires. He thinks that Happy Days is the perfect hunting ground because they can prey on the elderly and drink their blood. Then he gets so excited that he tries to force the girl to bite his neck. Okay, then.
And he tried to make me bite his neck.
Margot called the police, but she ultimately decided not to press charges.
Friends.
When Margot saw the news report of an elderly woman who had been stabbed, her heart removed and blood drained, she figured she should speak with authorities.
So it's pretty clear that Detective James and her team need to track down this vampire-obsessed kid and stat. He's the best lead they've got by a country mile.
Alex is 18, loves all things vampire, and wants to be an animator when he grows up. He had a regular childhood, but 4 years ago, his world was torn apart when his mother died of breast cancer. Alex was terribly affected and had difficulty accepting the tragedy of his mother's death. Alex retreats into his own fantasy world of vampires. He imagines himself as a romantic incubus, capable of drinking human blood and living for eternity amongst his fellow vamps. On the heels of Margot's story, the police question Alex.
How well would you say that you know the victim, Hazel?
I don't know anyone called Hazel.
Alex, Hazel's property was one of the few in the neighborhood where you mowed the lawn.
Alex's father reminds him that he's been there as recently as a couple of weeks before the murder.
That's right, I forgot.
So you do know the victim?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's of significant interest that Alex knew the victim and had access to her. In layman's terms, that's what we call opportunity.
Police request to see all of the shoes that Alex owns. The investigators hit pay dirt when they uncover the same type and brand of running shoe that was worn by the killer.
Let's get forensics on this. So see how this is worn right here, and it's worn in the exact same spot right there?
When the soles of Alex's sneakers are compared against the print found at the crime scene, they're an exact match.
The investigators have an arrest, which in this case is a massive step forward. But what they really need is concrete evidence connecting Alex to Hazel's murder, and time is running out. And here's the rub. They only have 48 hours to find that evidence, or the kid walks free.
Gotta find something or we gotta let him go, so.
When investigators search Alex's room, they find sketchbooks filled with dark, beastly images that indicate an obsession with vampires and the occult that goes far beyond the ordinary. On his computer, they find links to pages about drinking blood and black mass. Then, police finally hit the mother lode.
What?
They find a vampire figurine with dried blood all over it. It's immediately sent to forensics for DNA testing.
Alex's obsession is a serious red flag. You think, this is an unhealthy mind at work, but here's the thing. While the drawings and search histories are incriminating and really pretty cheesy if we're being honest, it's all still just circumstantial evidence. The investigators need more to put him away. They need a smoking gun.
The DNA found on the figurine belongs to Hazel. And Alex's DNA swab taken after his arrest matches the DNA found on the broken window at the scene of the crime.
I love the grind of good old-fashioned police work. You canvass the neighborhood and talk to each and every person. You're looking for something, anything. Sometimes you don't know what it is, but you don't stop. You turn over every stone you can, and then, boom, you get a lead like Margot's, and the case suddenly has legs. Now the question turns to, how did Alex do it?
Alex waited patiently outside Hazel's home the night he came to kill her. He knows that Hazel lives alone because he mows her lawn. And he knows she has a habit of listening to the radio very loudly. Alex pulls Hazel's unconscious body to the floor. Then, he starts on the grim task of getting what he came for. an old lady's heart.
I'm gonna live forever.
Alex was a perfectly normal kid with a clean record. So how'd he get to the place where he could kill a little old lady? Ultimately, I just don't think he could accept his mother's unexpected death. I mean, suddenly the world of vampires and immortality speaks to him. Maybe he just didn't want to die himself. Or maybe he was angry and wanted revenge.
Alex is charged with the murder of Hazel, a mere half hour before they would have had to release him. He's found guilty and sentenced to life in prison.
For some, the line between fantasy and reality can be razor thin. That line is called sanity. An otherwise well-adjusted kid couldn't deal with the trauma of his mother's death, so he tried to create a fantasy world that would let him escape. But it didn't work. Vampires aren't real, and if you drink somebody's blood, hey, you're not gonna live forever. Alex had to learn the hard way that nobody escapes reality. Nobody.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders,
Eccola qua.
Angelica and her husband Manny live a comfortable life in a close-knit Italian neighborhood. Until a violent, random act leaves her husband lying in a hospital bed.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
With the perpetrator at large, investigators quickly launch a statewide manhunt. But as detectives close in on the culprit, an unlikely clue leads them to a two-faced killer with a penchant for pasta. Staten Island, New York, 2009.
Aiutami, help me!
Ma'am, I need you to calm down.
Sei pazzo! How can I calm down? A man just came into our house and threw something in my husband's face!
Just stay calm, ma'am.
Angelica makes a panicked call to police to report an attack on her husband Manny.
It's burning! His skin is falling off!
Ma'am, please stay
It's
calm.
gonna be okay, honey.
Ma'am, paramedics will be on their way.
Grazie, thank you.
Manny is admitted to the hospital and treated for third-degree burns to the face.
Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us.
Mio fratello.
His brother Mario rushes to his side.
Are you okay? What happened to you?
Angelica and Manny have been happily married for 5 years. He works as a real estate agent, and she's a veterinary technician. In their free time, there's nothing that makes them happier than baking. But as time goes on, Manny becomes more focused on work than his wife. Angelica begins to feel neglected and more than a little bit lonely. The day of the attack, Angelica once again tries to capture Manny's attention.
Eccola qua.
Bellissime. Grazie.
She's prepared his favorite meal, spaghetti and meatballs.
Perfetto, perfetto. Sì, grazie. Oh, scusa.
Just as they're sitting down to dinner, a masked man breaks into their house and throws a bottle of acid right in Manny's face.
Over the course of my career, I've seen very few cases where acid is used as a weapon. But when I do see it, it immediately tells me one thing. This was not a random attack. The likelihood that this has been done by a stranger is almost zero. Think about it. The perpetrator is not trying to kill the victim. He's trying to maim him for life, a permanent and painful injury that will last until the day he dies. And that tells us two things about the criminal. One, this attack is personal. And two, they could benefit from a few anger management classes.
And blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us.
The prayers of an overwrought Angelica are suddenly interrupted.
I'm Detective Simon. How are you? Hey, how you doing?
Hello, Detective.
He asks her to recount the previous night's events.
You were there when the incident occurred?
I was, yes.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes. We were sitting at home. I hear a bang at the door. Someone walks in, throws acid in his face.
Okay. Does Manny have any enemies you know of?
No, none. Everyone loves Manny.
Any business deals gone bad?
Angelica can't think of a person in the world that would want to hurt Manny this way.
Is that your husband?
Oh, yes. That's my Manny.
Handsome guy.
Wasn't he?
Thank you very much.
But Manny's brother Mario has more to add to Angelica's story.
Detective. Hey,
yes.
Mario.
How are you?
I'm no good, huh?
What's wrong?
Angelica, man, I don't trust her.
He knows for a fact that Angelica has been two-timing Manny with some dude from Long Island.
Something is not good. Something's going on.
You have my card.
All right.
If I had $1 for every love triangle I've seen over my career, well, you know how that goes. A lover killing their rival is nothing new in my world. But what is new, and I really do appreciate the originality, is that he didn't kill the husband, he just maimed him. So it gets you wondering, what's going on in the mind of this jealous lover? Mark my words, where there's smoke, there's fire, and you smell that? There's definitely smoke here.
Angelica, why don't you tell me what really happened?
What do you mean, what really happened?
Detective Simon confronts Angelica about her brother-in-law's accusation that she's been having an affair.
It's not true.
He tells me he's got evidence.
But when the detective presses her,
Okay, fine.
Angelica spills the beans.
Manny's been very distant lately. He's never around. I started having an affair with my masseuse, Lorenzo.
She claims she's tried to break it off, but he's blackmailing her, threatening to reveal the affair to Manny by sending him lewd photos of her.
Any more?
At this point, Lorenzo the lover has jumped to the top of the suspect list. But the question is, what the heck is this guy thinking?
Where can I find this Lorenzo?
By maiming Manny and blackmailing Angelica, he's only succeeded in driving her back to her husband. Wild guess, but I don't think that's the result he was looking for.
Detective Simon does a background check on Angelica's boyfriend, Lorenzo. He learns that this handsome 33-year-old masseuse is not all that he's cracked up to be. Lorenzo has falsified his documents for his massage therapy license, only completing the first year of a 3-year program.
When you find out your #1 suspect has also committed fraud, it makes you feel like you've won the lottery. But I wouldn't go spending the money just yet, because it doesn't necessarily mean that Lorenzo is the culprit. It just means that we found ourselves a guy who's not willing to color within the lines.
Hello, this is Detective Simon. I'm looking for your son.
I know I shouldn't be judgmental, but frequently I am, so there you go.
When do you expect him back in, sorry?
When you see a 30-year-old man living with mommy and daddy, you start to form a profile of the guy. And by profile, I mean an opinion that goes something like this: fraudster, blackmailer, mama's boy. And that's a real winner in my book. And by winner, I mean that he's a good suspect.
Could you just let him know that I called?
Unable to track down their prime suspect, Lorenzo, who Detective Simon believes to be dangerous, they put out a bolo.
BOLO stands for Be on the Lookout. Basically, Lorenzo's a wanted man, and every cop in the state is now looking for him. And the only way he's getting away is if he's 10 times smarter than the cops. And, well, listen, if you flunk out of massage school, I think we both know Lorenzo's odds.
Brother, you're good thirsty, yeah? Let's get a drink.
Angelica and Mario face off at Manny's bedside, both believing they have his best interests at heart.
All right, easy. Watch his face. He's got acid all over it. Ah, spaghetti and meatballs. Got to make your favorite meal, eh? Oh, brother, look at this. All right, you can tell me how good it is, huh? You ready? Want a bite?
I can't eat that. I'm a vegetarian.
This guy still got a sense of humor, huh?
I'm serious. I can't eat that.
The problem here, and you can see it, is that Manny just refused his favorite dish in the world. So it kind of begs the question, how did this manly meat eater suddenly change his culinary tune?
When Manny refuses his favorite dish,
I can't eat that.
Mario has a hunch that something isn't right.
What's wrong with your voice, huh?
I read about this in a book. He experienced trauma while he was eating the meatballs. Now he has meat phobia.
He has a meat phobia now.
Yeah, he's not gonna eat meatballs anymore. He has a phobia of them.
Meat phobia, and it affects the way your voice sounds too, right? Detective Simon, it's Mario. I need to talk to you about my brother.
Sensing something's very wrong, Mario urgently contacts Detective Simon to let him know what happened.
I'm telling you, my brother is not a vegetarian. Nona would be turning in her grave right now.
Detective Simon returns to the hospital to take Manny's fingerprints. He tells Angelica it's a routine procedure they need for their files.
It's not called lying when you're a detective. It's called a ruse. It's called being a smart investigator. Because if you give away your hand, you run the risk of losing the entire game. Sometimes the key to good detective work is keeping your cards very close to your chest.
Because Manny works as a real estate agent, his fingerprints are on file. They run his prints through the system and check them against his employment records. What they find sends the case in a whole new direction.
Wait a second.
They aren't Manny's fingerprints.
Okay, hold the phone, people. It's not Manny in the hospital bed.
Oh, shoot.
Now, this is a game changer because Angelica has been caught red-handed in a lie. So the burning question is this: what's she holding back? And more to the point, who's the dude with third-degree burns all over his face pretending to be Angelica's hubby? Stick around. I guarantee you'll be amused, or horrified, or both.
Angelica, tell me exactly what happened.
Like I said, we were sitting down for dinner about 6:30.
Angelica is interrogated for hours, but she sticks to her story.
It doesn't sound realistic.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Then tell me the truth. I have all day. Why don't we start from the top again?
Okay. I made spaghetti and meatballs. His Nona taught me how to make them just the way he likes them. So, when he gets home, he's excited. It's his favorite meal. When we sit down to dinner...
After hours of intense grilling, she finally cracks.
Okay. Okay, I'll tell you what really happened.
After being married for almost 5 years, Angelica finds herself bored and lonely, while her husband works day and night. Enter Lorenzo, a young, handsome masseuse who finally gives her the hands-on attention she's been craving for years. Angelica continues to see her massage therapist regularly for maintenance, until one day, it turns into something more. For over a year, they stay in touch via text massages and regular massages. Because Manny works so many nights,
To you, Lolo.
To you, Mike.
they have more and more chances to see each other, eventually meeting up regularly at Angelica's house.
You have such perfect hands.
But their reckless love makes them careless, and unbeknownst to them, Manny's brother Mario catches them in the act.
What's this? How could you do this to us? To me? Why, Angelica, why?
Armed with the news that his wife is having an affair, Manny confronts Angelica.
I see two mouths attached.
No,
No, what? No,
That's
what
just
is this?
Donald. It's Donald.
It's Donald?
Yes.
It's Donald.
It's Tabitha's brother. Tabitha, my best friend.
Okay.
She denies everything and insists Mario must have seen her with her best friend's brother, planning a wedding shower for her, and have been spending a lot of time together.
He was trying to see the pamphlet where choosing her wedding cake. Look, it's true.
When they say love is blind, what they mean, really, is love is kind of stupid. Instead of believing his brother, who he's known all his life and who has always had his best interests at heart.
You know I would never cheat on you. I love you.
I love you.
He chooses to believe his wife's lame excuse. But the thing about hiding behind a huge cloak of denial is that it can often come back to bite you in the ass, and hard.
Manny knows about us.
Oh, no.
A worried Angelica tells her lover Lorenzo that her husband has found out about their affair.
I managed to convince him that it wasn't true, but it's only a matter of time until he finds out. What should we do?
Look. Look at me. Let's run away. Okay? We'll run away together.
Run away?
But while Angelica wants nothing more than to ditch her dull life and start over,
No, we can't run away. My mom and my dad, my sisters.
she can't leave her family. They'd be crushed if she disappeared.
Unless,
But unwilling to let her lover go,
if I can't go away,
Angelica has an idea.
then Manny should go away. Permanently.
Whoa. So we've gone from, I can't leave my parents, they would be crushed, to, let's kill my husband. What would mommy and daddy think if they knew their darling daughter was considering a new career as a killer? But here's the thing about criminals. They can compartmentalize. On one hand, they don't want to hurt their family's feelings, and on the other hand, they make a decision to kill their husband in cold blood. Look, I never said this stuff made sense.
Angelica hatches a plan.
There's a syringe and some medicine I can get from the veterinarian's office. If we inject Manny with it, he'll fall asleep for hours.
Then, when he's passed out, they'll kill him, hide his body, and Lorenzo will assume the identity of her husband.
How are people gonna believe I'm Manny?
Finally, somebody asks a smart question. I'm interested to see what she has in mind. Whatever it is, I guarantee it will be foolproof. Or maybe not.
Look, he's the same height as you. Basically the same stature. It's just acid. We'll throw acid in your face.
My face?
And then they'll have to rebuild it with plastic surgery and they can make you look just like Manny.
Lorenzo can then assume Manny's identity.
Ouch.
And the two can live happily ever after.
I don't know.
You don't know?
It sounds like Angelica has been watching too many true crime reenactment shows. I don't see a problem with this plan, do you? Never mind Lorenzo would have to learn all about Manny's background, family, work, likes and dislikes. He'd then have to speak and act like Manny. Even the best actor would have a problem doing all that, much less a fake massage therapist. I'd laugh at this plan if an innocent man's life wasn't at stake.
I thought you said you wanted to be with me. Don't you want to be with me, Lolo?
I know I do.
You said you loved me.
I do.
As Angelica convinces Lorenzo of the merits of her plan,
Then we can do this.
Okay, we can do it.
Hi, Annie, I'm home.
Manny arrives home unexpectedly.
Honey.
Great instincts, buddy. Whack the guy on the back of the head. You never heard about crawling out a window or running out a back door? You know, the way most cheaters escape a close call?
What do we do?
Lorenzo doesn't wait for an answer, leaving Angelica to deal with the mess.
Angelica's really got herself in a pickle. Her husband has just been clobbered over the head in his own home, and her lover has left her high and dry. The walls are starting to close in for good old Angie.
As Manny recovers on the couch, Angelica concocts a story.
What happened?
You were sleepwalking and you fell and you hit your head on the coffee table.
But Manny, confused, doesn't even remember going to bed.
I was sleepwalking?
Yeah, you were sleepwalking.
Angelica assures him that with head injuries, you often forget important details.
Honey, don't touch it.
Not knowing what to believe, Manny looks deep into Angelica's eyes, searching for the truth.
Okay, I know there's a rule that you don't blame the victim, but if he truly believes that cockamamie story about how he hurt his head, then he's got bigger problems than just a cheating wife. Remember what I said about denial? Well, it's sharpening its teeth right about now.
You'll be fine.
Are you sure?
I'll take care of you.
Angelica has managed to convince her husband Manny that the bump on the back of his head was caused by sleepwalking.
You sleepwalk all the time, honey.
But Angelica's not out of the woods yet.
Well, I think we need to call the doctor.
Honey, no, it's just a little bump. All you need is some ice and some rest.
Unable to convince Angelica to take him to the hospital,
You'll be fine.
I think I'm gonna call Mario.
Manny calls his brother Mario instead. After taking his brother to the doctor to be treated for his head injury, Mario insists on staying with Manny. A silent standoff ensues as both Mario and Angelica watch over Manny. After a few hours, Angelica receives a text from Lorenzo.
Who's that?
It's my mom. I have to go to work, so she's gonna come and watch him. You can go home.
Your mom, eh?
Yeah, it's my mom. She'll take care of him.
All right, yeah, I should probably take off anyways.
Come on.
As Angelica and Lorenzo reunite, Manny begins to stir. Angelica rushes to her purse and pulls out the needle she stole from the veterinary's office where she works. Then she plunges the needle into Manny's arm, filling his veins with a potent anesthesia.
Get the poker.
Okay. Okay.
Hit him.
Okay.
Give that to me.
After a couple of blows to the noggin, she hands the poker to Lorenzo,
Hit him.
insisting he do some of the dirty work.
Harder.
The couple proceed to beat Manny to death
Okay, give it to me.
on his own living room couch.
So here's the thing about Angelica. She's managed to convince her husband the affair didn't happen, get his doting brother out of the house, and convince her lover to help her bash her husband's brains in. She's a master manipulator who will stop at nothing to get what she wants. If nothing else, she's a force to be reckoned with, and I'd certainly think twice before meeting her in a dark alley.
Angelica and Lorenzo roll Manny's body in a bedsheet and drive to an abandoned building.
Yeah, a little deeper.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. That feels good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
As an afterthought, they throw the syringe and the fire poker in the dumpster.
So in case you haven't noticed, I'd like to point out a couple of genius moments here. One, who stops in the middle of disposing a body to get a neck massage? And two, who plants the murder weapon with the body? Good old Bonnie and Clyde here. You can't get nothing by them.
Will you be my nanny?
I do. I mean, I will. The dumpster.
Angelica and Lorenzo return to the house
Are you ready?
I guess so.
and put the next phase of their plan into action.
Hey, no, calm down. Calm down.
Here's a question for you. What kind of man would allow his face to be permanently disfigured for a woman?
It's okay. The burning will stop. Calm down.
He's obviously a people pleaser with a self-esteem problem. And here's another question. What kind of woman would subject her lover to that kind of pain?
Go into the washroom, wash your face off, and fix your hair. Make it look like Manny's.
When you think about it, they're really perfect for each other in a twisted kind of way. He's kind of the yin to her really messed up yang.
Angelica, you're under arrest for the murder of your husband, Manny.
Well, good old Angie sang like a canary with little more than a nudge. It almost makes you yearn for the good old days when cops and killers were more evenly matched, you know?
Detective Simon allows Angelica one last massage before he hauls her off to prison.
I'm sorry, Lolo.
Me too, Angel.
A little harder. No, to the left a little bit.
Lorenzo admits his part in the scheme and tells Detective Simon where they hid the body and the murder weapon.
Okay, hid is a bit of a misnomer, but I'm not gonna split hairs. The point is, these guys crumbled like a bridge made of blue cheese.
They're accused of criminal conspiracy, murder, and hiding evidence.
I love you, Lolo.
Love you too.
These two somehow thought they could get away with killing a man and taking over his identity without anyone noticing. In my book, that's either pure ignorance or pure stupidity. It's probably both.
Don't get this picture out of my room.
And to think a bowl of pasta brought these two masterminds down. It's kind of fitting, isn't it? Lorenzo promised Angelica he would do anything for love. But eat meat? He wouldn't do that. Nope, he wouldn't do that.